Hello, this is David Skrika, and this is Gold Stock Advisor Pro, November 7, 2012. Excuse me if there's some noise in the background. I'm actually in the airport flying to Atlanta on my way to Alabama to see one of these mining properties. So I'm flying out today because, of course, the day after the election, and no surprise, Obama won, which I kind of expected all along. And, I know it got a little close towards the end, but I kind of thought he would be reelected. It fits in with my cycle, by the way, because I think the country's going broke, and he's the perfect president to bankrupt it. Anyhow, this is a picture of the gold stocks. We've had a big drop here. We're going to show you why in a second. Both Barrick and Newmont, which I'll show you in a second, had some bad earnings, and essentially those things kind of hit the index because they're two big wings in the HUI. But what we can see is, despite this, it's kind of what we said. Remember, we were looking for 475, 470 in the HUI. It actually got down to 468 on this move lower. We can see now the 150 days flattened out. I think it's going to start moving higher. And even today, in a day when when the market's getting slaughtered, we're seeing the HUI actually up just over a point. So I think we're showing some relative strength. We took back this consolidation, and this first week of November tends to be the week where gold and gold stocks bottom. They tend to maybe base out till the end of November, and then we get rip roaring into the new year. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen this year. This is gold. Same thing. We saw a big jump yesterday. Gold's down a bit today. It was actually up until the market really turned around and started selling off with everything else. But again, I think around the 1700 area, gold will base out for a bit and get ready for another big move. I think one of the catalysts is they're going to kick the can down the road on the fiscal cliff, probably within the next few weeks, as we have now the status quo in both the Congress and the presidency. This is Newmont Mining. And what you can see, this was the earnings report. Newmont's probably a good buy down here at this level. The problem is, again, we continue to see higher than expected costs, lower than expected production, but most of these major projects are going to come online in about 2014. So I think the write-offs and the bad news is being put in now. And when we come to the other side of that, and we saw this, I'm going to show you with stocks like Yamana and Agnico Eagle, that once they kind of got the bad news out of the way, they sold off and then they turned around and rallied. This is American Barrick, and we can see this kind of a similar move here down in Barrick. With bad earnings but again, high cost, lower production. But again, by 2014, when everything kind of comes into production on these new properties, I expect that Barrick will really begin to outperform. And this is the U.S. dollar index, and I'm expecting that after this little rally here, we're going to really turn lower. There's some bad news out of Europe. Mario Draghi said the German economy is slower, Europe's slowing. We all know this right now. Now remember, this Europe bottoming process is not going to be a quick process. Most of the markets begin to bottom in June. I expect that it's going to be an 8 to 10, maybe even 12 months bottoming process. So I expect the choppy trading to probably continue for the next few months into next year. Maybe in the first quarter next year, we get an important bottom in Europe when we see the stabilization of the European economies. Remember, the rates in Spain and Italy, they've still come off a lot, and that's really positive going forward. So just to end off here, kind of this knee-jerk reaction to the election, worries over the fiscal cliff. My opinion, no surprise here. And gold really showing signs of its seasonal bottoming period here. And you might want to take a stab at some of these really beaten up gold names, which sell off on some bad news, because now the bad news is really going to be discounted probably in the next 6 to 12 months or so. So David Skrika is signing off, and I'll talk to you next week. I'll be back in the Bahamas next week when I talk to you.